What's up, guys, and how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, Coding Paths. Don't have my shirt on today. I thought I'd splice it up a little bit. But, I talk a lot about the power of community on all my social media channels, and I realized I never really got into that here on the YouTube. So here's 3 reasons why, as a self-taught developer, community is important to you. Now, before we even get started, right, some of you are already thinking, hey, I'm an introvert, so I'm just going to discount everything he's about to say. Well, guess what? I'm a natural introvert too. Very comfortable, kind of in my head, cerebral, by myself. That's my natural mode, right? And that might not be the technical definition of introvert, but you know what I mean. Being the more extroverted, people type person is not my natural mode. But what I learned is, and this is a learning process, right? The value that you can give to people can be returned. The value that you can give to people can be returned. So I look at it as more of a mathematical type of relationship. No reason for me to expect one side of the equal sign to be 5 and the other to be 0, and that it's going to work. It just won't work. And so community is very important. So here's 3 reasons. Number 1, in the power of community, you can connect with other people who are in your position. Can't tell you how valuable it was when I was just getting started learning programming and going through many struggles. Just a simple Facebook group of self-taught programmers did a lot for me. Reading about other people's stories, and then in-person meetups, being able to connect with other people who were self-taught with no computer science degree, electrical engineering degree, or any degree. And they were able to teach themselves enough code to get started programming as a profession, or get started in UI UX as a profession, or get started as a Scrum Master as a profession, and get out of education and being a mechanic and working in restaurants and all kind of other places. Getting that validation that it's even possible will do a lot to help motivate you. All right, number 2, power of community. One of the hidden secrets to many of you self-taught developers out there who are putting in dozens, if not hundreds of applications that you need to know for sure is the most direct route from where you are right now to your first job programming will come through a referral. The power of who you know. The first big panel meetup that we had with Code Connector, that's a nonprofit I work with, we got some of the best programmers, most of the awesome people you'll ever want to meet here in the Memphis area. And they were asked about getting jobs and the power of networking, and I was stunned. This was 5 or 6 people to a person. Every one of them said at least one of the jobs they got it through the power of who they knew. Now, they're great programmers with projects and open source and accolades, all these other things. But even with that, every single one of them, at least one of the jobs they got it through the power of who they knew. And so if you're coming up the road and you think you're going to just, be down in mom and dad's basement or up in the attic or in your room just coding away and GitHubbing and pushing your projects out and just sending out blind applications, right? You will do a whole lot better to connect yourself with people that can connect you with jobs. It worked for me. It's worked for tons of other folks. Again, this panel that I've just talked to you about, every single one of them said at least one of their tech jobs they got it through the power of who they knew. Now, that doesn't mean you can't program, right? I'm not advocating for building relationships above building your skill set. They both go together. See what I'm saying? It's hand in hand. So yes, build your projects. Yes, build your skills. Yes, be able to code. And at the same time, build relationships so that someone can vouch for you and get your application out of a stack of maybe 100 to 1,000 pulled out from the stack and put up toward the top, right? The power of referral is amazing. Number 3, I'm going to wrap this up. The power of community. It just feels great to give back. I can't say it enough. Now, I went to the Launch Code Bootcamp. Launch Code is a coding bootcamp out of St. Louis, Missouri, and they have different cohorts throughout the country. So obviously I went to the one here in Memphis, Tennessee area. It did a lot for me. I made a lot of great friends. It helped me get my current job, and it did such a good thing that I was compelled to give back to them, and I'm currently teaming with them right now. We just graduated one class last week, and we're about to go into what's called the Liftoff program, where we help them get career ready. And I'm already applying for the next cohort that's going to be virtual out of St. Louis or Kansas City. It feels great to give back, and I also do a lot of giving back with the nonprofit organization I talk about all the time, Code Connector. It feels amazing. Let me just tell you, just as a person, it feels amazing to hear somebody applying and failing and applying and not hearing callbacks, and then they get that win. They get that win and they say, hey, I just got hired for my first web developer job. Hey, I just got hired as a software engineer. Hey, I'm going to be working remote, working as a back-end engineer for XYZ company. That feels amazing. Every time those wins come in, man, I'm just right there on site, just celebrating and hitting all the emojis. But I don't get to enjoy those wins if I don't immerse myself in community. I can't just be out here, it's just me and my family and that's it, and I'm just cut off from the rest of the world. And I understand there's time commitments and there's so many things that you're wanting to do. I suggest you will get a huge benefit when you connect with community and help people cross that finish line. The returns are amazing. So that's 3 reasons to get involved with community. Hopefully I didn't ramble on too much. I'll see you guys around.